Supposedly, but the woman who was involved with the whole story said that I guess some people have ignored the recall.
Oh.
You know, I'm
Because they want to sleep.
right, right.
Well, that's what we know.
Yeah, well, you don't
Mhm.
want to sleep forever either.
That's right, Marilyn. Hi, Steve. Only when you're ready. That's why we should tell all those people on CPAC devices about yoga.
Yeah.
I bet we could figure it out for them without having to use that device.
So if it's the middle of the night, you can't fall asleep, do you think you should get up and do some yoga? If you did it during the day, let's say, and now you're having trouble sleeping, do you think it would help?
I would try it if it was really, if you were really up, like I'll wake up to go to the bathroom or something, but I can go back to sleep. But if you can't go back to sleep, if I couldn't go back to sleep, I'm sure that I would try things instead of just laying there praying that I was gonna go to sleep. Legs up the wall. Legs up the wall is really, really good for helping to shift the nervous system off and inviting rest. Twists, doing the abdominal twists, like a minute on each side, and then legs up. So that combination. Sometimes if I'm like just struggling to go to sleep, I'm laying in bed and I'll do constructive rest. I'll bring my feet to my mattress, my knees, you know how we bring the thighs and knees together and my hands to the belly. And as soon as I bring my hands to the belly, it instantly tells me to follow my breath and help turn the mind off and come into that, you know, doing 5 minutes of meditation before you go to bed to help calm those whirlings. Yeah. But I definitely wouldn't just lay there or get up and eat or, you know, like do things to try and pass the time. I would definitely look to something in the practice to see if that can help trigger the relaxation response. Yeah. It's the restroom. Give him a little, you're a new instructor, I just gave him a little tour of the facilities.
Three new ones. Three new males.
Yeah, I mean, guy, he's doing.
Yeah, strength. I think at the time they reset.
And Wednesday.
Oh, what's on
Yeah,
Wednesday night?
6 o'clock on one of the nights, what was it?
I think it was Wednesday. I don't
Wednesday.
know what the Wednesday class was, but the Saturday was strength and conditioning. There is one of the three. There was just one was here. We don't know anything about the other two.
Don't ask us
I
what
thought one of them was
questions.
gonna do yoga.
Friday.
Of any kind.
I guess not, they're gonna do something with the air conditioning, so there's no classes on Friday. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Come on.
No, no, there's more.
You know. Oh.
I saw their vehicles parked in their spot and said, oh, they're back.
It's on this morning.
Everybody signed in?
Back in the swing of things. Thank you.
Oh. Yes.
I have to go pick up my first grade, but I'm way back.
It's that time of year.
I was just coming over.
Thank you.
He's supposed to be Stan
Yay. You need a gun? Yep, I got it. I got your blocks. I'm there.
Yeah, I just like, don't want that.
All right. Just remembered the announcement, Marilyn.
Yes.
So apparently you're getting a new air conditioning unit in this building on Friday. So all classes are canceled on Friday.
Okay.
So just
So
a
do
quick,
them outside.
the what?
We should do them outside.
Outside. That's a good idea. I know. It's probably beautiful out. It's gonna be beautiful out.
Tai Chi is outside on Tuesday.
I don't know what's on your Friday schedule, so. Mary, I just announced, a quick housekeeping note. This building's getting a new air conditioning unit on Friday. So classes are canceled that day. Okay, so. Oh, you bet. Yeah, and I just, learned that 3 new instructors were hired, all men. And I just met one, here to show him how the fob works and the key and all that. So he will be doing the Wednesday class at 6.
Yeah,
I think he
one at
said.
6 and then Saturday.
Saturday at 9:15. And the Saturday morning is the strength and
Sounded like just
conditioning.
strength, yeah,
Yeah,
conditioning.
yeah. And he looked very strong.
And Wednesday,
Be prepared.
is Wednesday, a swing class too at 6
I
p.m.?
don't know.
He didn't really say.
Do you know what?
I don't think it's on the schedule. The original one they put out had a few changes to it, no?
Well, the February schedule's not out yet because of these new hires and schedule changes and stuff. So
I hope somebody teaches yoga on Saturday.
the yoga flow, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Stephanie's working as fast as she can with all these updates. So as soon as it's all together, it will be in that. Maybe even this Friday's flash, right? Don't you get something on Fridays?
Yeah.
So hopefully more information will be in that.
Okay.
I just teach here, you know.
Thank goodness.
Don't
Don't go anywhere.
Oh. So just asking the question, like, how's everybody feeling so far about your meditation practice? And is anybody doing it at home a little bit? Awesome. Any questions about it? Anything that you're confused by or?
or sleep time, the borderline between meditating and sleep.
My well, and one of the women I guess she's a teacher, but she calls it the liminal space. And I think that's a good word for it. Space between awake and asleep. When you're moving into a different state of your consciousness. So the state that you're in all day long is your awake state. Then you move into dream state, and then that's usually where we all kind of stay. When we sleep, we really don't ever move into the next phase, which would be theta, where you just feel. If you ever feel, here's a great question. When you meditate, is there ever a moment where you then say, where was I? Yes. So, I mean, that's ultimately the moments that you want to feel, and to have those moments increase. But if you have that sensation in the practice, like, where did I just go? You just move past that dream state. And that's moving into a higher level of your consciousness. I brought my Jivamukti book because I was reading the passage. Sharon's got a whole chapter on meditation in here, and my light. She writes, all yoga practices, including meditation, are designed to reveal the existing happiness in every cell and tissue of the body, and every thought wave of the mind. Through these practices, the yogi seeks to clear the mind of all thoughts that cloud the truth of the psyche, that the inner soul or self exists eternally in a state of happiness. To truly be happy, we must bring the mind into a condition of clear perception. With clear perception, the mind reflects the self like a clean mirror. To practice meditation, we must first practice, I think I touched on this a little bit last week. In Sanskrit, it's called pratyahara. And when we look at the yoga practice, there's 8 limbs. First limb is yamas. Second are the niyamas. Third is pranayama, the breath work we do. Fourth is asana, our movement, physical movement. Only 1 limb. Then the 5th is pratyahara, which is that removal of the senses. So 5 senses, right, that we all commonly know. There's more, but the 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch. Yeah. So when we move into the meditative state, and we start to release our ability to hear the external sounds that are going on, or if there's an aroma, smell, touch, maybe even though your arms, if we're say laying down, or your seat, you can feel right now your sits bones. If that feeling of that touch starts to fade, that's a withdrawal of your senses. And that means that you're moving more inwardly to listen more deeply. I just want to find this other, hold on one sec. So she writes, meditation is an effortless state that we can arise only after you've trained yourself to sit still and concentrate on one object without distraction. Even with preparation, we're not always able to shift into a meditative, thought-free state. But through practice, you get closer and closer. So even if for 5 minutes a day, you just sit quietly to practice that withdrawal of senses and focus on one thing, whether if it's your breath. I know we did it one day where licked our finger and put it right here so that you instantly feel that sensation of moisture, and then it brings your focus to it. You can also focus on the tip of your nostril, like a little bit ahead, where you really feel your inhale going up the nostril and the exhale coming out, or maybe the abdomen, where you feel your breath move your abdomen. This is a good line for your question, Julia. You don't give up on sleep if you have a sleepless night. So we don't give up on moving closer to a meditative state, because the next night you might have that sleep, that beautiful sleep, just like with meditation. So never give up. Our concentration will be interrupted. There's no doubt about that. Give me a sec. The fact that, we can't turn our mind off from thinking. But if we practice watching our mind to do something, like focusing on the tip of your nose or focusing on your abdomen, then we're shifting to watching our mind. And that can then draw you out of the thoughts that are whirling and into a more meditative state. Once you're in it and you get sucked out, it's a practice. You do the tools to bring you back in. So, and that's why it's a practice. But even if it's just for a moment, that freeing feeling, to know that you can go there, to know that then you can maybe find areas of yourself, of your body, that you can heal. It's powerful. Like sleep apnea. Like sleep apnea. I mean, all the tapping that Sue has taught in her classes, that activation of the energy channels. And when you're able to deeply listen inside, if you unblock a channel, you're boosting your immune system. There's a lot of healing in that. So, and this month, I mentioned earlier in the week, focus is on the heart. Make the American Heart Association happy, right? So it's the Healthy Heart Month. So we're just going to focus on it all month. And our heart chakra actually lies closer to the center of our spine, behind the heart. It's not really super forward. It's more in behind. And responsible for it's our connection to unconditional love. It's our connection to self-confidence, to feelings that you deserve to be loved, that you deserve love. It's represented by the color green. You can think about that connection to nature, and that our heart is a connection to all that's around us. So yeah, so that's what we're going to focus on today. So start in a seat. Just be here for a couple moments to open the practice and tune in, and then we're going to move to our backs and work on opening our hips a little bit with the strap. So just finding a comfortable seat, and let's bring our hands together and actively rub them together. Soften the gaze or close the eyes, and start to feel, as you rub them together, just this energy that you create in between, this heat. Breathe in and out through your nose. And let's bring the right hand over our heart, the left hand over that, and just pressing the palms toward the heart. And notice if you be quiet for a few moments so you can really turn inward and listen. See if you can detect your heart pulsing. without any judgment, acknowledging if it's strong or faint, if it's moving fast or slowly. Taking note just where you're at today. Bring the hands back together, palms touching. And then think about how you feed your heart, what makes your heart feel happy. Maybe it's reading a good book, maybe it's walking in nature, maybe riding a bike, maybe being in water, anything, activity, or it can just be maybe if it's having 5 minutes of quiet time, meditation time. Maybe it's a food that you eat that you know makes your heart happy. Weave that in to your intention to guide you through your practice today. Opening with the sound of Om. Take a full inhale and big sigh out through the mouth, big release. And we'll Om on the next exhale. Flickering the eyes open. If you had any doubt in your mind, if we're made up of energy, we are, because that is the 3rd time that I've done that, and I get a hot flash. That heat. Sorry, Steve. Probably TMI, right? Let's come on to our backs, but oh my God, that's like the 3rd time that's happened to me. Okay. Coming onto your backs, and just have your strap to the side. And start by stretching the legs out long. Take the arms overhead on an inhale. On your exhale, arms come down alongside and draw the knees into your chest and rock a little bit from side to side. Stretch the legs out long on your next inhale. Arms overhead. Hug it back in on your exhale. Rock a little bit from side to side. Drop the left foot to the mat, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, and then extend that right foot up to the ceiling. Exhale, rebend the knee. Inhale, stretch that leg up to the ceiling. And exhale, rebend. Inhale, lengthening it up to the ceiling. Exhale, rebend. And then let's just make circles with this right hip. So take the right knee out to the side, circling it in towards center. Another time this direction. Reverse that circle. Moving with your breath. Left hand can be on the floor or on that left hip. And then we're going to draw that right knee in a little bit more. Get into that hip just a little bit more, that hip crease. And then release it and extend your left leg. Now grab your strap. Wrap your strap around the ball of that right foot. So the ball of the foot is right beneath where the toes start. Grab the strap on either side of your foot and start pressing the ball of your foot into that strap to lengthen the leg up to the ceiling and making what we call that floint, where you drop the heel down, but you press the ball of the foot into the strap and flex your toes. So that floint is, pretend you are wearing a Barbie heel right now. And just getting a deeper stretch. So when you drop that heel, you should feel a deeper stretch in the back of that right leg. And the ball of the foot into the strap makes this a little bit more active. So by dropping heel, come around, you drop that heel down, push the ball of the foot and flex your toes. Dropping the heel down. This way, flip toward the back, this way, and now flex the foot. Yes. There you go. Yes. And then so really pressing it. And the strap, hold the strap with both hands on either side of the foot. So yeah, like Julie is doing here. The straps are long enough. Slide your hands down to the backs of your forearms. Come down to the mat. Your elbows come down to the mat. Yeah. There it is. There it is. And now, drop that down. Rose, you can do it. Drop that heel down. And now push the ball of the foot up. And it's like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Feel the difference in the stretch? All right. We're going to take this right leg out to the right side. So now grab both sides of the strap in your right hand and move your hand up toward your foot. Left arm comes down to the floor to help support you, and then draw that right leg down to the floor. The minute you feel your left side popping up, that's your edge. So staying there and breathing into it. If it's more comfortable, you can bring the left foot to the mat, bending that knee if that's better for you. But dropping this right leg down to the floor, keeping the 90-degree angle and getting into this right hip. And then inhale, lifting that right leg back up. I want to switch the grasp now. Take the left hand around the straps. Right hand comes down to the floor. So we're going to do an IT band stretch here. So keeping this right leg facing the ceiling, draw it to the left, just crossing the midline so you feel that stretch in the back of your right leg, the upper part of the leg, into your glute. Keep the left leg active. Keep your toes facing the ceiling. So not a full spinal twist. So keep this up here. Right. Just going to cross the midline. So you should feel it all on that right side. Yep. Everybody feel it in their IT band? Breathe in. Can be a little intense. And out. Keeping the left knee and left toes facing the ceiling as we take one more breath in and then exhale, release back to center. Take that right foot down to the floor and then just let the strap rest alongside of you or on your belly, and then we'll do the left knee, drawing it in. So first interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, rebend. Inhale, straighten the leg. And exhale, rebend. One more time. Inhale, straighten the leg. Rebend, and then making circles. Guide that left knee all the way out. Draw it in. circling out to the left again, and then reverse that circle. And then grabbing the strap, bringing it around the ball of this left foot again. So right beneath where the toes meet it, you're grabbing the strap on either side of the foot. Start with your hands at the top, just to get the leg pushing into the strap. So again, dropping the heel down, pushing the ball of the foot into the strap and opening those toes, flex the toes, and slide your hands down each side of the strap so the elbows and backs of the upper arms rest on the mat, and then actively push the ball of the foot into the strap to get a deeper stretch on this left leg. Stretching the foot a little bit here as well. One more breath in and out. Bring the straps together, grab them with your left hand. Right arm comes down of the floor for support. Your right knee can be bent, or you can extend the right leg out, and then start to let this left leg drop down toward the floor. And again, as soon as you feel that right hip lift up, that's your signal to just pause and breathe into your edge. And see if you're gripping a lot in that left hip. Try and soften, just let that left leg gravity draw it down a little bit. Inhale that leg back to center. Grabbing the strap with your right hand, in your right hand now, up toward the foot. So you're reaching that right hand up toward the foot. Left arm comes down. Keep your right knee and your right toes facing the ceiling. And just cross the midline with this left leg. Breathing in, breathing out. When we have a tight IT band, it could cause tightness in our hip flexors, which then runs down to maybe cause pain in the knee. Try and keep that right leg active. Your right knee, right toes are facing up. You don't want to roll that right leg. So keep this right leg. So then that stretch. But keeping that right knee and toes facing up right now will help that IT band stretch. Maybe even pressing that right leg into the mat a little bit. Nice. And then bring it back to center. Release the strap. Hug knees into the chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. Straighten the legs both up to the ceiling. Take them out wide. Bring them back together and cross right knee in front of the left. Bend your knees, flexing the feet. Reach your hands, wrap them around your shins. The palms are on your shins and your fingertips are going toward the back of your calves. And then draw the knees in toward your chest. See if you can keep your feet in the same position, level. So we're not crossing the ankles, we're crossing the knees. Here, so we're here, cross the knee in front of the other knee. Squeeze the thighs together, and then flexing the feet. Now reach and draw them in. And then it's really hard. See if you can let this leg lift up. So this foot is in the same plane. Squeeze the thighs together. Everybody feeling that stretch? Yeah. And then release, open the legs. bend right knee, lengthen that right leg out, bend left knee, lengthen out, bring the legs back together, this time crossing left knee in front of the right. So squeeze the thighs together and then bend at the knees. Feet are flexed, and see if you can reach your fingers around the shins and calves, and then hug those knees in toward your chest. Try not to let the low back round up. Breathe in. This is a pose, doing it on our backs right now, but it's called cow face pose or Gomukhasana. Big stretch for the hips, and also really bring your awareness to your whole pelvis area and see if you can create some space there by pressing the back into the mat. One more breath in, and then exhale, release, take the legs out wide. Draw the soles of the feet together. Wrap your hands around the shins and calves again, pushing the elbows to the inside of your knees, and then push the soles of your feet together a little bit. Press the middle of your back into the mat. And then let the feet drop down to the floor, so keeping the knees butterflied out. Inhale, flip the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, bring them behind the head. Elbows and back to the arms, gently pressing into the floor, and actively press your soles of your feet together. And by doing that, if it caused your back to arch, press that back into the mat. So very active engagement for the inner thighs here, and also opening the shoulders. Full breath in. Full breath out. So we're active here, not just going soft. Pressing the soles of the feet together, the backs of the arms into the floor, the back pressing into the floor. One more breath in. And out, release the grasp. Bring your hands down to the outside of the legs and close the legs together. Heel toe your feet as wide as your mat. So the knees are facing the ceiling, and then let your knees drop over to the right. Inhale them through center and drop them over to the left. One more time each side. Inhale through center, drop them down to the right. Inhale through center and drop them down to the left. And then back to center, and we'll bring our hands, knees up, hands underneath the knees, and just begin to rock yourself up to a seat, massaging the spine. And as you roll, getting enough momentum to bring your feet to the mat in front of you, knees hugging in, coming into TP twist. Wrap your left arm in front of the knees. Take your right hand behind. Inhale to lengthen up through the spine. And exhale into the twist. Adding the head. So maybe finding that point of resistance and pausing, breathing in to then look over that right shoulder a little bit more. One more inhale and exhale. Next inhale, come through center, wrapping right arm in front of the knees, taking left hand behind, starting small here. Let your breath bring you deeper in. So finding that point of resistance by turning the head to the left, get to that point, breathe in, and then push past that point of resistance a little bit, that edge, looking over the left shoulder a little bit more. Breathing into the navel, sitting up tall on the sits bones. One more breath in. And out. And then coming back to center, take your feet wide as your mat. Seated cow and cat, so hands on the knees. Lengthen the spine as you draw the chest forward, opening up across the heart space and collarbones. And then on your exhale, rocking back on your tailbone. Bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, coming through, lifting up, lengthening up, a slight tilting up of the tailbone. And now we're tucking it under, chin to chest, rounding into seated cat. And then coming to neutral. And bring your hands behind you. And we'll windshield wiper the knees here. So dropping a little bit more for the hip here, maybe even lifting up the hip as you drop that knee down. And you can mirror me or do the other leg, other side. One more time, each direction. And then we're gonna add the arms. So after you do this side, come back to dropping the knees down to whatever side you're on. Flip that opposite arm over, bend of the elbows, lowering the chest toward the mat. Inhale, lift up, float that arm around behind you, and then we drop down to the other side. And maybe feeling this in the hip and the side body. And then coming back up. And arm behind you. And then cross at your ankles and roll to tabletop, roll forward to tabletop. And moving through cow and cat here. Draw the belly in, remembering that the movement is in the pelvis. So start to tilt your tailbone up, rocking the pelvis so the pubic bone is pointing toward the mat. Feel the spine lengthen and the chest, heart space lift and open. And then on your exhale, reverse the direction of the pelvis, tucking the tailbone under, chin naturally comes to the chest when you look at your navel. And then tilting the tailbone up, finding cow pose. And then exhaling into cat. One more round, inhaling into cow. And exhaling into cat. Coming back to neutral and then drop down to your forearms, interlace your fingers, and then step your feet back to come to forearm plank. We'll just be here 4 breaths, inhale, and then on your exhale, drop your thighs to the mat, your hips, untuck your toes, tops of the feet to the mat, and then bring your arms, your hands, your forearms, and your hands down in front of you so that your elbow creases. So look down at your elbow creases and have them come in front of your shoulder a little bit. So moving them forward. So you've got about, if you can see the position of mine, they're about, I would say 2 inches in front of my shoulders, giving you the space to draw your shoulders away from your ears. And this is Sphinx pose. Actively pressing the forearms and the palms into the mat and draw them back, energetically draw them back. And by drawing them back, hopefully you feel a little bit more lift in the heart space, the chest. Your gaze is looking ahead of your fingertips. If you feel any tightness or clenching in the low back, try turning the pubic bone more toward the mat to lengthen down through your tailbone. Breathing in, breathing out. This is a back bend, but also a heart opener. So bring awareness to your heart space here. Imagine that color green, beautiful, vibrant green surrounding, circling the heart. Feeling extension in the spine. Try and ungrip the pelvis. Press into your toenails a little bit. One more full breath in. And then exhale, lowering down, stacking your hands, making a pillow for the backs, or for your forehead. Drop your forehead to the backs of your hands. And bend your knees. Take them apart a little bit. Slowly windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And then lowering the legs, take your arms out to the sides like a T. Bring your right hand in by the chest. Stretch that left arm a little bit further out so you can roll onto the left side of your body, letting the head, enough space for the head to drop to the floor. And stacking the legs, or if you need a little help with balance, you can bring that right foot to the mat, bending the knee. Letting your left shoulder sink into the support beneath it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe feel an opening in the right side of your chest a little bit. Pressing into that hand. And then rolling onto the belly. Taking this on the other side, so stretch that right arm out. Left hand coming in by the chest. Rolling onto the right side of the body. Moving that right arm a little bit further to create space for the head to drop down. And that left hand stays in by the chest to help open the left side of the chest. You're stacking the legs or bringing that left foot to the mat. The knee is bent. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let that right shoulder sink into the support beneath it just a little bit more. Next inhale, rolling onto the belly again. Bringing the hands in by the chest, under the shoulders. Press into the hands to lift you up. Take the knees wide, pushing back to wide-legged child's pose. Letting the heart sink and melt toward the earth. If you need a block under the head, go ahead and find support here. Soften the arms, the elbows. The action of the heart melting toward the earth. Inviting in some grounding for the heart space here. Fill the belly and rib cage with your breath. Releasing tension from the low back, from the middle of the back, from the upper back and neck. One more full breath in and out, and then slowly walk your hands in so you're coming to sit up on your heels and then rock off on one hip or the other, swinging the legs around in front of you, and setting up here for a series of forward folds. So just moving the flesh away from the sits bones, it helps to widen the sits bones a little bit, creating some space there. And then we'll hug I'm going to mirror you here, hug the right knee into your chest and let that knee drop out to the side, bringing the sole of the foot inside that left leg. Inhale, arms up by the ears and a slight micro twist to the left. So I want you to keep your left knee and your toes facing the ceiling, almost turning them in just a little bit. And then that little micro twist, hinge forward, reach and lead with the heart. At the point that you're going to round the back, bring the hands down. You might welcome in support underneath your head with a block. You can place the block on the knee or the calf, the shin, and have it supporting under your forehead. Forward folds serve to cool us down and also soothe our nervous system. So using each inhale and exhale here to start that process of turning inward. Practicing focusing on your breath. Next inhale, lifts up. And then take that leg out straight, separate the legs. We'll do a wide-legged forward fold in between sides. So again, a hinge action. You want to find length in your spine. Reach those arms up, find some length, and then start to hinge forward, letting the heart lead the way. At the point that you feel that rounding start, bring the hands down. Stay with your edge here and soften the gaze or close the eyes and really think about it being a hinging forward action. Keeping the knees and toes facing the ceiling. With the inhale, see if you can feel as if you're lifting up out of your seat. The exhale, maybe hinging a little bit more towards the earth. One more breath in and out, and then inhale to lift back up. Bring the legs in, and then we'll take our left knee into the chest, drop it out to the side, the sole of the foot coming to the inside. And if you do need a block under there, that's okay. You can support that knee with the block. We'll take our arms up, finding length. The right knee and toes facing the ceiling, slight micro twist to the right, then hinging forward. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes and following our breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale to lift up and then straighten that leg. So forward fold with our legs straight out. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Lengthen, draw the belly in. Feel like you're growing your seat. And then reach forward, leading with the heart. hinging forward. Keep that long spine. Draw shoulders away from the ears. Soften the gaze. Following your breath. Maybe practicing that tip of the nose. Feeling the breath entering the nostrils. And exhale, feeling you just focus on the tip of your nose. Seeing if you can feel your breath right in that spot, just in front of the tip of your nose. Can you ungrip just a little bit more here? And then inhale to lift up. So short inversion before we move into meditation. I want you to come onto your back. Slide your block at the lowest height under the sacrum. As you place it on the block, lengthen, kind of tuck the tailbone under to lengthen, and then lift one leg up at a time so the knees are at a 90-degree angle. Your arms come out to the sides, and then flip your palms up. Bring the tip of your index finger underneath the tip of your thumb, and extend your third, fourth, fifth fingers, and then extend your legs up to the sky. Supported shoulder stand. We'll be here for a minute. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe. So this mudra that we're making, it's called the chin mudra. Mudras are an extension of the energy from our heart. So the energy emanating from your physical heart out through the arms, interacting with this gesture. Just another 5 breaths here. Picturing your heart chakra at the center of your spine at heart level. And breathe in unconditional love for yourself, for others. Compassion, empathy, joy, forgiveness. Our hands are instruments through which we express the feelings in our hearts. So the energy channels that emanate from the heart, from this heart chakra, radiate from the area of the physical heart through the arms and into the hands. The use of the mudra helps to purify the energy channel, to elevate your prana, your life force. One more breath in and out, slowly rebending the knees, drawing the feet down to the mat, moving that block out from under you, slowly lowering the back to the mat, hug the knees into your chest, and then roll onto your right side. Just take a couple of breaths here. slowly making your way up, pressing into the left hand, right arm, circling your way up to a seat. And using any props or blocks to support your seat for meditation. If you want to try something different, if you haven't tried hero's pose before, you can come up on your knees and place the blocks in between your ankle bones, the inside ankle. You can see using the width of the block and then sitting my sits bones directly on it. So if this feels good for your knees, the idea is to find a seat that you can commit to. The knees can be forward facing or drawing in toward each other. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Making any last movements. Sharing one quote with you as we move into meditation. When I am silent, I fall into the place where everything is music, by Rubin. The only task that you have right now is to encourage the process of letting go. So choosing either to focus on your breath or maybe repeating an affirmation. Maybe my heart is beautiful. Or I am at peace.
Slowly start to deepen your breath and be aware of your surroundings, noticing any sounds, temperature of the room, parts of the body that maybe you lost touch with. Bring your hands up to your heart in Anjali Mudra and prayer pose. A soft bow towards your heart, thanking your heart. Thank yourself for feeding your heart in this most nourishing way. And recalling your intention, remembering what it is that you can do to make your heart happy. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you, feeling the energy emanate from each of your hearts in this space. Close our practice with Om. Take a full breath in. Another inhale. Om. Bringing the fingers up to the space between the eyebrows, the third eye. Say, Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Okay, you float through the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody feel a little freer in their hips to be able to sit? So those stretches were intentional that we did to try and open, create enough space to be able to sit. Sometimes it's hard to sit for an extended period of time if you haven't warmed up any part of the body. I'm glad that resonated with you. Makes my heart happy to think that you're benefiting from it. They do, yeah. Well, nope, there's a bag, there's a green bag hanging up on the back wall. All those tension straps are here for you guys. Maybe you can just put the straps right in this raised bag.
Oh, you're good.
And the more, the more that we do practice it, the easier it is to move into, even if it's not full meditation, but like if you're in a stressful situation and you take 3 deep breaths or root down through the feet and just, just find that space for a moment. It's amazing how much clearer your decision making can be. Your reactions to situations. I watched yesterday, driving down Livingston, I was approaching Pine Ridge, and the line, there's 2 lanes to make a left on Pine Ridge from Livingston. And you travel, I'm driving south, so community school was on the right, and then coming to that intersection in Pine Ridge. And I've been living in this community for 5 years. I've never seen the line so long for the turn to the left. I got there, I was making the right, I looked, and like I didn't see any accident, like nothing to cause. And if I had to sit on that line, I would then say, what else can I do? I can go to the right on Pine Ridge and make a U-turn, or I can go through the intersection and then cut through the shopping center. Like, and I'm sure all those people were just like, oh, yeah, right? And honestly, it's this practice, like it just really helps.
Do you give any other meditation classes?
No, I don't right now. But I will say that this fabulous teacher needs a meditation, a 1-hour meditation class at Love Yoga where I teach. which is, thank you, it's on 41. You go north on 41, almost to Pine Ridge.
Yeah, I was completely in purple and yellow, which like really baked and the orange, you know, so that I knew, but I mean, something I just gave up. Just like purple.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so if I'd been longer,
Oh, the purple.
I know.
Getting, yeah.
I know, and I normally just go right into the white place, but if I'd been just a little bit long, I could have stayed here.
That's doing great.
So anyway, her name's Jennifer and she leads a 1 hour meditation, 5:30, love yoga.
On Saturday,
Oh, you're
first session, yes, I am, and I'm taking a friend with me. It's poses to help with osteoporosis. It's so am I supposed to register me?
You're not registered?
Because I thought we could do it when we got there. Because you said you wouldn't turn anybody away walk-ins, but I didn't know I could register.
Well, I didn't know that it was
So
good.
that.
Because we want to give everybody a place at the wall. So if you could call today,
I will do that right
because
now.
we held a couple of spots for walk-ins, but I don't want you to miss out
Okay.
if you know that you're coming. So,
I'm gonna call right now and say I just came into Nancy's class.
yes, and you'll probably get Chrissy, so tell her that I said that it was okay to put you guys in.
Okay, thank you.
But anyway, Jennifer, 5:30 on Mondays. So I did her meditation once and it was fabulous. For her, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hit do that call, Lorraine.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Saturday, hopefully.
Yes, yes.